Good everyone, Organized Video. Today we have a battle that I had in the F2G Corsair, also known as the Super Corsair. Now, this is not a review of this aircraft for anyone else. I don't tend to review vehicles from battle passes or events, purely because, let's be real, I don't get them until much later, because obviously I'm not part of the content creator program that Gaijin have. So I just let the others do it, and yeah. But to give you a brief summary, I quite like this thing. It has a shit ton of horsepower, to put it simply. It's got a good overall armament, and the secondary weapons load are very good as well. I've used this thing in Ground Forces to great success, and overall, I had a lot of fun grinding the Mark of Distinction for it. So, what are we going to be having in this battle that made this battle worth saving? Well, first of all, it was my first ace in the F2G. This was a 6-3 match, if I remember rightly. Yes, it was. It might have been a 6-7. And we met a player who was in a F4U-7. Now, for those of you that don't know what the F4U-7 is, if I just move my B1 turret, totally wasn't clubbing in it the night before. Um, The F4U-7 is pretty well known for being able to carry loads like this, 114 snebs. But in this battle, the player that we're going to meet is going to be using this payload right here. 10 100 kilogram French bombs. Now, if I had to make an assumption, he was close to stock. And looking at the guy's player card, which we're going to do later, he's what we call a tanker trash. Now, before we obviously show that, I'm going to briefly explain what a tanker trash is. So a tanker trash is when you look at a player's player card and their top vehicles are tanks and planes that should be in good hands, like for example P-47s, PVD-1s, F4U-7 for example, and they tend to do horrible in them because they use them in ground forces where it's far easier for players to get shot down. And this happened in this battle. Now, in fair credit, the guy didn't have the guns upgraded, but you would at least expect him to know that these guns are very jam worthy when they are stock. That's how the M3s are. But as you're going to see, this guy really doesn't contribute much to the battle, and he tries to take it out on me and my squad, who ended up carrying his ass, purely because I said to him that he's got no brains, because I literally told him once to just kill the ground targets, which would have won us the match, but instead he sprayed it at AA, sprayed it at a base, and sprayed it at a pillbox until his guns jammed. Yeah. But anyway, back to the F2G. So like I say, I really do enjoy this thing. It's been very nice to play, and I absolutely adore the red skin on it, red 50s, or this 57. And it looks gorgeous. This thing is one lovely looking aircraft. Now, of course, there you can see down there the M5A1TD. I've only recently got it, so there's not going to be any videos on it because it's just an M5A1. But yeah, the F2G will eventually show up in the Rare Vehicles series, but well, in fact, I might do a separate event vehicle series or something like that, or like something along those lines, because it doesn't really classify as a rare vehicle because you see these like they're sent out like hotcakes. But to be fair, I think for the moment we're just gonna forget about the F2G. This is the only time you're gonna see it for the moment, and I'll plan something for the future for it. So let's get into the replay and let's take a look at the individual who's responsible for this. So the user we're looking for is Rico67, who is in his he's in his F4U-7. And in this battle, I'm teamed up with Shadow and Atomic Destroyer J from Fly Squadron. And this battle's only about 16 minutes long, as you can see up there, and there's a lot to cover, really. So first of all, I'm going to jump us ahead of it. Nothing really happens for the first few minutes. It's just climbing, 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 which this thing does very well. And I have to admit, this thing genuinely surprised me with its climb rate. So, as you saw there, around the 2-minute mark, Rico67 has just spawned in, and he's loaded up his bombs, and he's taking off. Now, when I was spading the F4U-7, I didn't resort to that. That was a strange graphical bug, wasn't it? I didn't resort to that until I got the snebs, and then that finished up the spade in just a few games. Now, if you're going to use the F4U-7 as a ground pounder, you really should wait for the snebs. Play it as a fighter until you get the snebs, and if you really want to use the snebs early, just grind for the snebs and just use those. At least those could one-shot a pillbox, like, come on. And they could also one-shot a heavy tank if you get them on target. So now that we've jumped ahead a little bit, most of the enemy team is actually on the deck, and this is really where Rico is going to perform his very little acts, shall we say. He's not going to do a lot, and this is the thing. If you're going to take a good aircraft like the F4U-7, throw it away, and then you try to blame me for your stupidity, as far as I'm concerned, you're the problem. So coming in there, I had to dodge the Dora, but 410 was nice and slow. Figured I'll just go for him, use the speed I built up in the dive, and extend away from the Dornier 335. Now eventually he might, well I'm pretty certain he can catch me even if I did extend. Eventually, of course. But I've got Shadow there, so I'm just keeping straight. The Dornier doesn't pay attention, and Shadow bitch slaps him out of the sky. So credit to the Spitfire pilot, which you see there, Gidron, I'm not sure how you say that name. He's put in a world of effort. He really tried to help us, but of course now it's down to me, my squad, I should really say, and Rico. Baiting the Dora 13 there for my team, obviously, well, my squad, and well, Shadow's shooting into the graders, but eventually he does manage to pull the kill. And any second now, or is it I who pulled the kill? I can't remember this kill. It was me. Sorry, Shadow. But as the old rule is in our squad, if you don't burn, you get a turn. I couldn't remember who got that kill, so I do apologise for that. But this is where Rico is going to pull his very limited contribution to this battle. As you can see on the replay, he hasn't actually dropped his bombs yet. He's done 6.5 minutes of just doing donuts out here in the ocean. And obviously I know he's still there, and I thought, maybe he's stuck and he's struggling to climb and he doesn't know the climb angle. I didn't actually know he had bombs on until around this point is when I knew he had bombs. Now of course this does leave us with 3 288s, which those things are bastards to deal with, and a TA-152H1. Now of course I said to the guys that we're going to want to take this low if it's a H. If it's a C, we need to force this high, and that's going to be quite troublesome, I should really say. But it's at this moment I clock that it's a H, and I'm thinking, okay, this is doable. We can definitely beat this thing. So I score a couple of hits, and obviously the Tara spotted Shadow going for one of the 288s. And I hate to break it to you lot, but I don't actually have that much ammo left. Just thought I'd make that clear. I don't actually have that much ammo. Of course, coming in now for the 288. I'm not going to actually get the kill on this one. I think it's the second one I get the kill on. But nice crit, and there he goes. But as you saw there, Rico's just dropped his bombs. Now yes, he did take out the base. But there's a 288 right there, which you could have pulled for. Really? I know what would get more SL, and it ain't the base bombing, mate. Now sure, he has equalised the tickets, but killing a 288 which can potentially go and bomb ground targets, which is what that one's going to do very shortly, kill number 3, it would be far more beneficial to the team to do that. And now I'm trying to save Shadow here, but as I fire off the last of my ammunition, I get the kill on the Tar, and my squad mate, Atomic, manages to take out the JU-288. but unfortunately he is shot down in the process. So now me and Shadow heading back to base, and we're entrusting Rico, who has barely fired his guns, to take out some ground targets. But as you're going to see, this is something this individual doesn't seem to manage. And I'm not being funny, right? When you see his player card, you'll understand why I got frustrated. And right there, folks, he's just jammed his guns. At least as far as I know. I mean, I think he jammed 1 or 2 because he seemed to not be firing as much with the cannons that he has left. I think he's still got all 4 going, but I told him to take out the light pillboxes. But as you can see, he's only actually killed 1 AAA piece. And whilst, yes, he is making strafing passes on the light pillboxes, his gun convergence is completely off what it should be. And he actually jammed his guns there. At least I think he did. I saw the guns stop firing there, and this is the replay, by the way, that's been a bit buggy. It looked like he jammed his guns, but I don't know if the replay is showing that yet. But if you noticed in the hangar, this thing has around, I think it's 824 rounds. You should still have loads left, mate. Or is it just me? And obviously, I'm escorting a damaged Shadow back to base, who unfortunately lost his vertical stabilizer, but he does manage to land it. I don't know how he got away with it, but... And there's the finest landing from me. But, yeah, Shadow manages to get away with it. He lands safely with no vertical stabilizer, and we're both going to repair very shortly. And this is a bug. This has been happening for about 2 patches now. And Rico says in chat he is just waiting at their airfield, because obviously the last one is a 288. This is a bug, by the way. I can't do anything like this, so you just have to live with the bug, unfortunately. You can't get to hear the Wasp Major producing over 3,000 horsepower, unfortunately. So this is where he puts in chat, well, I put in chat, you could have won this by now, which he could have done. I mean, you can clearly tell he's still got ammunition. You can clearly tell that his guns were not jammed, as what we've determined throughout the replay. And he's claiming that because he has no unlimited bombs/guns, he's unable to kill ground targets. You've still got ammo, dude. The A&M3s are more than capable. But anyway, at this point, I've had to resort to well, I don't know if it shows it in the battle. No, I didn't put the bombs on my Corsair. I thought I did, but I didn't. I needed the airspeed. As you can see here, my airspeed is reaching 370 miles an hour. And this is where I got a bit annoyed with him, which you can understand, because it's not difficult. I said to him, no, you have no brains, as I told you to take out the pillboxes, but you wasted it strafing tanks and AAA. Now, of course, I didn't know at the time he was actually strafing light pillboxes, but you're in an F4U-7. You have like 900 rounds. How have you run out of ammo from a couple of passes? And this is where he starts to not pay attention to my contribution of the battle. I've obviously been on 4 kills and assists. I'm not exactly going to have much ammo left, if at all, which I didn't. I didn't have any ammo left. And he says, you could have made a raid to kill him as well, man. So your brain, it can count as well. But I had no bullets. You do. That's the big difference here. But anyway, I'm going to keep it at 1 times speed because the rest of the battle is going to be very shortly. And this is where I start to lose my patience, which you can understand. I mean, I've dealt with players like this all the time, and you do kind of get annoyed by it. And this is where he says, you know what, I will slack, and I will lose, apparently. And obviously, me and Shadow are obviously in the BC thinking, what's this guy playing at? He could have won this by now. And he actually comes very close to costing us the match because of his stupidity. That's a 288, and it's going for light pillboxes. Well, it's going for our medium tank, sorry. And yes, I do some amazing damage to the 288, which personally, I'm surprised one fire actually did it, but even so, look at the tickets, and there's my ace. But we are so close to losing. Luckily, I'm able to bring the F2G back around, another pass on the pillbox, and we win. But of course, as you can see down there, I said to him, I can kill pillboxes, and then he says I should do the job myself, but I've been an air superiority fighter this whole game, and you've been bombing bases, strafing pillboxes, and you would have had at least 400 rounds left to take out pillboxes, but you didn't. You just decided to insult us. Okay. But of course, I said in chat, just as I did that level out after taking out one of the first pillboxes, I said, sure, I'll do your job. And then, of course, he calls me a team job, which, not really. You took out you took out a AAA piece and one base, which is just a waste of an F4U-7. He then calls me asshole human trash, and I call him Tanker Trash just before the match ends. So let's go and take a look at his player card, and this is where we can kind of understand where my point about Tanker Trash comes in. And here we go. So if I just I'll turn off these, and here we can see. So his top vehicles are stuff like the French Jumbo, the EBR, which I've seen people pull 8 kill games out of this thing without breaking a sweat. But if you look, a great bird like the P63C5, and he throws it away in ground forces. D520, he does the same. F6F5, he does the same. H75A4, he does the same. This P70AA thing, he does the same. And this is all he does. He takes it out on others when he cannot do it himself. Now, of course, this isn't a scumbag alert, because this guy really isn't a scumbag, he's just a douche, but I know some people might agree with the way I've talked about this guy, but personally, this guy needs to be made aware of, because he really didn't contribute anything to the battle, and he would have had at least 400 rounds left in his 20mm. Even if he didn't have the guns upgraded so that he doesn't spray and jam his guns as quickly, he would have still done it. And he could have done it. But instead, he takes it out on us because I pointed out the fact that he strafed out AAA and bombed a base. Unfortunately, this is the kind of players that US teams have to put up with. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's little overview of the F2G Corsair. Like I say, if you can get it, obviously in the marketplace, I would highly recommend it. This thing is great, but you will have to deal with players like Rico, unfortunately. But anyway, I'm going to let you guys off. I hope you enjoyed today's battle in the F2G1 Super Corsair, and I will see you all on the next one.